Welcome back to the Morning Blend Extra. At this time, we're joined by Natalie Barber of Tobin, Ramon, and Barber. Obviously, you're a pretty familiar face. We have you on the Blend Extra all the time, as well as the Morning Blend. Natalie, glad to have you back in the studio.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm glad I haven't bored you to death with all the lawyer stuff yet.
No.
Willing to talk to me still.
Right, and obviously, you know, we do like to have fun on this show, but obviously the topic that we do have you on is kind of a serious topic. Sometimes can be a little bit of a morbid topic, sometimes an uncomfortable topic for people to talk about. So, let's really just get right into the meat and potatoes of this. So, what is estate planning?
Yeah, so estate planning is it's a set of documents that help you plan for any stage of life. So no matter what life throws at you, no matter who dies or becomes incapacitated, and in what order, if you've got your estate plan in place, typically a will, a trust, and powers of attorney, then you're going to be okay. We've planned for all we can plan for, right? So we plan for the worst, we hope for the best, and we just move forward and live our lives.
Yeah.
And if you do it right, you only have to do it the one time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do it with a licensed attorney who practices regularly in the estate planning area, like I do, like we do at my firm, then the way the documents are drafted, we've got all the backups and all the different kind of scenarios built in.
Mm-hmm.
So apart from like a preference change, like, I want to leave everything to charity, you shouldn't really have to redo your estate plan again.
Yeah.
You should only have to do it the one time.
Yeah, and I know we've kind of talked a little bit about how you have to sort of update things, and I have a feeling we'll kind of get into that here shortly. But, something that we often talk about when you are on the show here is kind of estate planning for you. But today we're kind of talking about how parents and guardians can kind of protect their kids through a will and trust. How does that really work?
Yeah, so estate planning is kind of like buying life insurance, right? Like you pay the premium, but really the benefit is for everyone else, because you're sort of paving the way so that you're sending the message and you're building the plan and living the legacy of, no matter when I'm called, right? When it's my time to move on from this world, you're going to be okay. There's a plan for you. I've paved a smooth path for you. With a will, at least you can say where stuff goes when you die. If you do just a will, then you control your estate plan, because otherwise, without a will, the state of Illinois has a really weird estate plan, even for like a traditional family, a spouse, a couple kids. It doesn't go the way that you might expect it would go. So at least with a will, you get to say, okay, this is who gets this is who my executor is, or who's in charge of distributing everything. But you have to go through probate to do the distribution. Probate is a 6-month court case. So a will is faster, it's cheaper to set up, but you're sort of saving headaches and expense for your kids or whoever you're leaving stuff to in the end.
Yeah.
A will is wonderful that's where we put guardians for the kids.
Right.
So if I were to pass away, I've got 3 kids, Conrad, Ava, and Grace. They're 10, 9, and 7. If my husband and I were to pass away and our kids were still around those ages, in other words, under 18, we've got guardians appointed or nominated in our will. Now we're homeowners, so we also have a trust.
Right.
So it's not, do I need a will or a trust? It's, do I need to add a trust to this will so that I don't have to go through probate with my will? Because the trust has everything built in up front, and you can skip the court process.
Right.
It's more expensive to set up, takes 2 or 3 appointments as opposed to the 1, but you save your estate and your loved ones that you leave behind many headaches they get to avoid.
Yeah, and obviously, speaking about a will and a trust, it seems like a will is kind of, hey, where are these things going to be moving afterward? Whereas a trust is maybe sort of an investment, if I'm not mistaken, or how does that really, what's the difference there?
So a will and a trust, as far as where stuff goes when you die and like the way we talk about it, those ingredients, if you will, they're exactly the same. It's just if you package it in a trust, which if you have a trust, we change your will to a pour over will, kind of like when you pour wine into a glass.
Yeah.
The will becomes, here's my name, here's who I'm related to, I pour everything to my trust. And then the trust is what I would call like a self-authenticating document. That's a big kind of scary term, but all it means is with a trust, you've already got the power as that successor trustee to just take over, step into the dead person's shoes, and distribute their estate. With a will, an executor is a nomination. That will, it says Natalie Barber as my executor, it doesn't mean anything until I file that will and get something called letters of office. Then I'm in charge. Well, you can imagine the time that's built into getting to the point where the judge has finally granted letters of office. There's a delay.
Right.
They can't get into, let's say Jane Smith has passed away, we can't get into Jane's checking account to pay for her burial. We can't get into Jane's checking account to pay the attorney to go ahead and file the will at the courthouse and get the letters of office. With a trust, all you have to do is show the death certificate.
Yeah.
And that's your golden ticket, and you are automatically in charge.
Holy cow.
So that's what's cool about a trust.
Yeah.
It's like a shortcut.
Yeah, that's a little like skip, shoots and ladders.
Yes,
almost.
like the board game. Yeah, you can just boop, skip.
Yeah, and then obviously I know you mentioned kind of a little bit about trustees kind of in that explanation there. How important is it to choose the right trustee when it comes to your family?
So whoever you choose as your trustee tends to be the same people or group of people that you would choose to be your executor. Trustee, executor, same thing, just different document. Also, the people that tend to be chosen to be trustees or executors are the same people you trust oftentimes to be the guardians for your children.
Right.
One thing that people don't know or realize is they think, okay, I'm going to name John and Jane Smith for guardians for my kids because that's where I want my kids to live if I pass away and my kids are under 18.
Right.
You don't necessarily, the guardians don't have to have the children live with them. They don't have to, they're just the decision makers. So you could have, John and Jane Smith, let's say they're 70 years old. They're the people you trust in the world. It's okay to name them. They're not like too old or too whatever to be the guardians.
Yeah.
They're just the decision makers. And they may decide for your young children, okay, yes, I'm the guardian, but it doesn't make sense for these kids who are in high school to live with me.
Yes.
They're going to go live with this family, their best friend's family, and I'll still run their money to make sure they're okay, but they don't necessarily have to be placed with this couple that is the only couple I trust in the world, but maybe they're just not at the life stage where they need young kids living with them.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
Right. Yeah, and then, wrapping things up here for you, Natalie, obviously, like you mentioned, having a skilled, someone skilled like you, making your estate plan, you really should only have to do it once, but obviously there are some times where you kind of have to review your plans a little bit. How often should somebody do something like that?
I would say every 5 to 10 years. And the range is mostly for client satisfaction. So I would say my very regimented, more type A people, they want to check in every 5 years just so that they know that they have peace of mind, that they don't need any changes.
More security kind of on things.
Yes.
Right.
As a practical matter, it makes sense to check in like every decade because major life events, a birth, a death, a retirement, a new house, a sale of a major asset,
Right.
All that good stuff. And the law changes once in a while. So if you check in every 10 years, you can kind of catch whatever you need to catch if we do need to change your documents for that reason.
Right.
That's super rare, though, because the way that we write your documents, you're fine no matter what the law says.
Yeah, and obviously that's all stuff that you can get over there at Tobin, Ramon, and Barber, obviously. But hey, Natalie, that is all the time that we have here for our interview today. You're awesome as always. Of course,
thank you.
You're very knowledgeable about all this stuff. So obviously, thank you so much for coming out of the show. And if you are looking for help in putting together an estate plan, you can check out Tobin, Ramon, and Barber at 530 South State Street in Belvedere, or you can head to their website at tobinramon.com.